All right, we're going to talk about the Senior Enlisted Marketplace Decision Guidance Memorandum that was just released yesterday, June 5th, 2026. This guidance applies to any sailor that has successfully screened for Chief, Senior Chief, or Master Chief. It establishes new rules for detailing and SEM eligibility. The first major change will affect those who are within their normal 12-month orders negotiation window. If you are screened first class who successfully screened for Chief, you can no longer apply for E6 billets. Any applications you do submit for E6 billets will be voided, and you'll be directed to only apply for valid Chief billets. The same concept will apply for every screened pay grade. The Navy is making it clear that screened sailors are expected to fill billets at the next highest pay grade. The second major change involves what happens if you don't get selected. If a screened sailor does reach that third window and they are not selected for any orders for the next highest pay grade, their detailer will identify must-fill billets at that next highest pay grade and offer one of them to the sailor. Now, here's where it gets interesting. If a sailor declines that next higher pay grade assignment, they can request to rescind their screening selection through a NAVPERS 1306/7 that would be endorsed by the commanding officer. If approved, their SEM eligibility is removed from My Navy assignment. To become eligible again, they would have to screen through a future board. Another important piece deals with OBLISERV. If a screened sailor is selected for a billet in the next highest pay grade, but they cannot complete obligated service within 90 days of PCS transfer, they must submit a NAVPERS 1306/7 to Navy Personnel Command to remove their SEM eligibility. Again, getting back into SEM would require screening through a future board. The memo does also address those sailors who already have orders when board results come out. If your projected detachment date is 3 months or less from that time frame, you're generally expected to execute those orders. However, a TICOM or BSO could still divert you into a valid billet at the next higher pay grade. Now, if your detachment date is 4 months or greater from the time the board results are released, you are expected to be selected for a valid SEM billet through My Navy assignment, or you may potentially be diverted into a valid billet in the next higher pay grade. There's one thing that sailors need to pay close attention to that the memo doesn't say. Nowhere in the memo does it state that you are guaranteed your preferred billet. It also doesn't state that you are guaranteed to stay on your original orders. What it does make clear is once you are screened, the Navy's priority is ensuring that you are selected for a billet in the next highest pay grade. Bottom line, screening is no longer just recognition that you're ready for a promotion. The expectation is that screening leads to an assignment to a valid billet at the appropriate rate. This memo gives Navy Personnel Command additional tools to ensure that happens. I already know there are tons of questions and thoughts about this. Drop it in the comments. Let's have a thoughtful discussion. Of course, don't forget to like, follow, and especially share with anyone that you know that has screened for Chief, Senior Chief, or Master Chief recently. That's all I got. Go out there and make today great.